Hello, this is Benanna in Japan's Guide to Grocery Shopping in Japan. One of the first things that you will come to when you walk into a Japanese grocery store is the fruits and vegetables. And one thing that will become very clear very quickly is that if you buy out of season in Japan, it will be very, very expensive. Fruit and vegetables over here can be quite expensive no matter the time of year, but especially if you were buying it outside of the season, you're going to be paying a lot more for it. So you should be aware of the things that you love to have and when they're going to be cheapest. Japan has a lot of different kinds of pre-made drinks. They have Coke and Coke products and things like that, but they also have a lot of green teas and barley teas and things like that, which I highly recommend everyone to try. You can make them at home. You can buy them from the grocery store, from the konbini. One thing that a lot of people know about Japan is the Pocari Sweat and those kinds of sports drinks. They're not for everyone. I personally don't particularly care for them. I drink a lot of green dakara, which is another one of those kinds of rehydrating drinks that has a lot of minerals and stuff. It's not quite as salty as a lot of the others that I have tried. One thing that I find as buying semi-regularly is Japanese sweetbreads, melon bread, cream buns, things like that, and they generally cost between 100 and 200 yen if you're buying them from the grocery store. If you're buying them from a bakery, which I highly recommend that you do because the quality is so much greater for the bakery ones, you're going to pay more than that, but you can make do just eating grocery store sweetbreads. They are delicious and they will affect your waistline, but it's kind of worth it. When buying bread, you will notice that in Japan the loaves are usually half loaves and they will have a number on it, 4, 6, 8, and sometimes 10, and that is how many slices you get per half loaf. Generally, Japanese slices are thicker than you would find in other countries. I found 10 to be roughly what you would buy in the States or in England. If you like to make sandwiches for lunch, just be aware that in Japan there's not a large amount of deli meat selection. There is a lot of pork-based lunch meats, and occasionally I will see beef, but that is very expensive. So you will have to adjust your sandwiches accordingly. You can get peanut butter and things like that from some stores, especially from Costco, but it does tend to be a little bit more expensive. When buying meat or products like that, if you look at the label, there is a little box usually at the top, sometimes at the bottom of the label, that will tell you where the meat is from. Obviously domestic products are going to be cheaper than ones that they have to import, so that's something to pay attention to when you are buying food. If you want to try your hand at making sushi, sashimi, or nigiri, or even good old-fashioned onigiri, then you can buy pre-cut pieces of meat and vegetables from the local grocery store. You will see platters with various different kinds of fish that you can use, either eating them as sashimi by themselves or putting them into sushi or nigiri. Something that I get asked a lot by various different Japanese people is if I like natto, And if you're not familiar with what natto is, it is a sticky, kind of smelly, fermented soybean dish that I get the feeling it's kind of like Marmite, and you either love it or you hate it. One thing that Japan does really well is sauces and spices and things like that, and you can find bottles of pureed ginger and wasabi and other things like that that you just add a little dash to, so you don't have to mash the fresh ingredients. Japanese instant noodles have a lot of variety and a lot of different flavors, and they're all very different from what you would get in the US or in England. One thing I did notice is that a lot of grocery stores have Korean noodles as well, so if you're familiar with nongshim, there are amazing, very spicy noodles, and they have them over here. So if you're not sure, you can always go with something that you're familiar with, but I highly recommend you try the various different flavors. Another difference between shopping for groceries in Japan versus shopping for them in other countries is Japan does not put as much preservatives into everything, so I find myself going almost every day, and on average people go 2 to 4 times a week. I also have some groceries delivered every week from Co-op Deli, which I will be doing a video on sometime in the future. So you'll have more information about that. But the regularity with which you go shopping will likely increase. I try to shop when they have marked stuff down, so I can get meat and things like that a lot cheaper if I buy it late in the day, on the day that it's going to go bad, and use it that day. So generally I can get between 20 to 50% off of the meat there, and that can make it quite cheap. There are several ways to use Google Translate to help you in your grocery shopping. The first is instantaneous translation through using your camera. This is fairly new, and it's not 100%, but it does sometimes work to give you a basic idea of what you're looking at. The other is to take a photo and to translate the text through that. That tends to be a little bit more accurate, but still not 100%. And then the other one is if you can read the hiragana, katakana, or kanji to enter the word into Google Translate or into an application like JED or a website like Gyuunyuu. That will help you figure out what it is that you're about to buy. When checking out in Japan, you will be expected to pack your own grocery bags. Sometimes you have to buy them. Sometimes they give you them for free, but you will go to an area outside of the checking area once you've paid and pack them yourselves. Thank you for watching our video. If you look below in the annotations, you will see useful kanji and words for when you are shopping. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any videos you'd like to see in the future or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for watching.